It's not often we get the northern lights in this part of the world, but we're doing that right now. And joining us to give us a little bit more information about what this is and why it's happening is Jim Todd. You're the space science director at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. Thanks for joining us today, Jim.
My pleasure.
So, first of all, before we get into exactly what's happening tonight or last night a little bit, uh, briefly, what are the northern lights?
Well, the northern lights is the effect from a large solar flare that they call coronal mass ejection that just erupted on the sun a few days ago. And it's in line with the orbit of the Earth. And what happened is those charged particles from the sun, coronal mass ejection, interact with the Earth's magnetic field. And it gets funneled down towards the north because that's the magnetic field that kind of joined in at the North Pole and South Pole. And when it gets to about roughly 60 miles above the Earth's surface, and it does what's called a discharge. And that discharge is that the charge of the air molecules, the nitrogen and oxygen and so on, it starts to glow. And the effect for the northern lights. And so, depending on how strong that storm is, it can create northern lights in high latitude, middle latitude. And so, we have an opportunity to see the northern lights tonight. A little bit of a northern light show last night, which will be Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then we look like we still have a good storm maybe for tonight.
Now, you said the solar wind speed for this particular geomagnetic storm is about 1,000 kilometers a second. That sounds really fast to me. Is that super fast?
Well, they vary. Yes, it is, and it can. When we get a coronal mass ejection, they can generally get here in a day or 3 days, 4 days. Again, it depends on the size of the storm and the location. And so this particular one apparently was is quite fast, and it came sooner than expected. Is that uncommon? Not necessarily, but I'm glad somebody's monitoring now the storm for us and indicating that we're going to have these storms because not necessarily do they produce a great show, Northern Lights, but they can cause problems to power grids, communication, and all of that. So I'm very glad that is noticing that we have storm coming our way.
Well, good. And so, two things real quick. So, people may have heard the term aurora borealis, which means the northern lights. And then, as I understand it, the southern lights happen simultaneously, the aurora australis. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're spot on, exactly right. And so they can be the same storm can affect both poles. But for the southern hemisphere, they're lucky now because their days are short and their nights are getting longer. And so they have more opportunity to see the auroras down in the south than up here in the northern hemisphere. We're heading towards the summer solstice and we're seeing more twilight and we're also having longer days and shorter nights. So this is a great opportunity and hopefully it will be a strong storm for us tonight that we'll be able to see it. And the indication that we're seeing now is going to be about a KP 6 to 8, which is a G2 or G4 storm. There's a good chance that we might be able to see it. And best of all, we have clear skies.
What is it? What is a KP 6 to 8? What does that mean?
KP index is it's a scale of 0 to 9. It's an indication of how strong the storm will be. And for us, we're considered to be at exactly middle latitude at 45 degrees north. We need an index of around 7. We can see a little bit of 6, but if it gets 7, 8, or 9, we have a very good chance of seeing the northern lights. But the best thing to do is get away from the city lights, look toward the north, and park safely, by the way. Find a good location to park, but you need to have a good view of the northern horizon. In a lot of cases, it could be so faint, you'll need a camera. Use your smartphone, do a pro setting, and set it for about 3 to 4 seconds. Point toward the north, be able to see the color. Our human eyes are not sensitive enough to pick up on the faint colors of the northern lights. You could be looking right at it but use the camera to really justify your viewing of the northern lights. And then take several of them because it could last for a few minutes, few hours, all night. It really depends on the strength of the storm.
So just a decent camera on your phone is good enough to use for tonight. I mean, you can have a more professional camera, but a camera phone on your cell would be just fine.
Yeah, they're so nice nowadays that you could just go out with your phone and point toward the north. Don't use the normal camera setting; it won't be a long enough exposure. But if you could go to the pro mode, night mode, and do 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, do several, and point towards the north, and you'll might get lucky to get a picture of the northern lights. And people love the northern lights, and we're expecting more. This is not going to be the only night. I'm expecting that this will go on for the next uh, couple of years because we're coming past the peak of the solar storm, solar maximum. And sure, we'll still have some more, but this is an opportunity that's appearing now that we're going to have a northern lights in Oregon.
As I understand it, the northern lights happen pretty much all the time, but what's rare is that we could see them here because they're in the higher climates like Finland and Norway and Sweden, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Um, what makes it? Is it just the strength of the storm that makes it visible down here for us at this time of the year? And I also understand that May, June, and July is not really a good time to see the northern lights. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. You're right out on the mark. And what the strength of the storm determines how far down in the middle latitude that we can see the northern lights. But May, June, July, it's just because we're heading towards the summer solstice and the tilt of the earth and the angle of the earth is not ideal for the northern lights. It's not impossible, but it's the limitation to how well we see them. So generally, spring and fall are the best time for us to see the northern lights. And many people will recall last May in 2024 that we had that tremendous storm, and it was a global view. Okay. And so we're having another opportunity. It's not the same strength, but when you get 6, 7, and 8, it's a great opportunity to go out and take a look and make sure you use the camera and make it charge up. Enjoy the view.
And I know that you and OMSI are going to have some stargazing parties, like a summer solstice celebration coming up in a week or so at Stubb Stewart State Park. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on there? I think it's June 7th?
June 7th it is, and we're going to celebrate the arrival of the summer solstice. Of course, it's not until June 20th, 21st, but this is an opportunity for us to have all of our volunteers from rotated astronomers with their telescope to view the night sky. So we're going to have the interpreters there to share their knowledge about the night sky. We'll have up to a dozen telescopes out on the field. And this is a great way to start the summer with the summer observing of the summer night sky. And there's nothing better than being with the real sky and you're learning something, and it's a great atmosphere to be in. It'll start at about 8 p.m. And this is going to be Oregon State Park Day, which means that parking is free on this particular day. So even better. But it's great for the family. It brings people together. It's a great environment. We encourage people to be there early to get parking, get settled, and we'll learn about the summer night sky. And this will be one star party a month from June to September that we'll have the OMSI Star Party.
And this one, June 7th, is at Stubb Stewart Park, which is about 25 miles or so west of Portland, right?
Correct. And it's going to be just as you head towards Sunset Highway
Okay.
26, and then turn right on Highway 47. And then you'll see the sign to Stubb Stewart. So we want to get there early so you can get your parking space and your blankets and your chairs, and personal telescopes are welcome. If you want to bring your telescope, you're welcome to bring them along and join in on the fun. And so make sure you check the weather before you go out.
And are you going to be looking up in the sky tonight too, looking for the northern lights?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm planning on it, and I think that the best time going to be around midnight, because twilight doesn't end until about 11:21 tonight.
Really?
And so, what did that mean? That means that's the darkest part of the night. You'll notice that sunset is almost about 9 o'clock. And when you get into the summer solstice, you have to wait longer until it gets really dark. And so I imagine that tonight we're going to see in the neighborhood of about midnight. But again, check the KP index, check the aurora sites and the weather. The weather looks great, but check it before you head out and put all your energy out there. But more importantly, find a safe parking area. No, don't stop in the middle of the road. It could be very exciting, but find a really good site but that you can safely view the northern lights.
Well, Jim Todd, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for everything you have given us today and for all your years at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. Hope you have a fun time tonight, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, thank you.